Manipur is burning since a long time. There has been ethnic conflicts. There has been lives that have been taken away in Manipur. Civilian lives have also been lost, and a huge amount of destruction, violence, injuries, etc. has also happened. But yet, our honorable Prime Minister has yet not visited one state in India since a long time, wherein there is probably the most need for him to visit. That is the state of Manipur, which he has not visited since a few years, since when the recent issues have started. Now, of course, these issues are not of recent nature, they are going on since decades, but the thing does not seem to settle down. Now, in order to prevail or bring peace in Manipur, people are protesting. Yes, so the Kuki are protesting, and not just that, they have also given certain submissions to the Prime Minister requesting the center to intervene in the situation to ensure that peace is prevailed once and for all in Manipur. So that is exactly what we will discuss in this lecture. What has happened is Kuki Inpi, basically they have led protests, right? For what? To seek center's intervention in the Manipur situation. So let us understand what the challenges are, what the issues are, what are their demands, and what can be done moving forward. So first things first, let's understand what the news is all about. It is about the thousands of people who participated in the rally for justice, which was organized by Kuki Inpi Manipur. So it was organized by them, and thousands of people participated. That is why it is in news. Now, this main gathering was held at the Kangpokpi district headquarters in Manipur. Now, in this, what has happened is a memorandum, basically the things, the write-up with respect to what the demand is, was submitted to the Prime Minister through the Deputy Commissioner of that particular district. Now, this protest that is there, it highlights the concerns with respect to security, civilian safety. As I said, the civilian lives have been taken away, and political grievances as well of the Kuki Zo community. Now, let us understand what is the background of the Manipur crisis. So this is basically an ethnic conflict. So what are the ethnicities involved over here? See, the ethnic composition of Manipur consists of the Meiteis, the Kukis, and the Nagas. Now, the Meiteis basically are predominantly settled in the valley region. So basically, if this is the hilly area, these are two hills, this is basically the valley region. Whereas the Kuki-Zo tribes are primarily inhabiting the hilly districts that are there. As far as the Nagas are concerned, they are concentrated in the northern hill region. So these three ethnicities are present. Major conflict between Kuki and Meiteis are there, of course, but there is a mix of ethnicities. Now, what are the key causes of the tensions? There is a demand for being declared as the scheduled tribe by the Meiteis. There is a competition over the land resources, other resources, right? There has been historical mistrust among these ethnic tribes, and the governance security issues are there because lives have been lost. There is also inter-community political contestation vying for the political power as well. Now, what are the major concerns raised by Kuki Inpi Manipur? Basically, they are talking about the alleged deaths of Kuki Zoo civilians in the recent incidents. That is their concern, as civilians are losing life. Also, the damage to the villages in the conflict affected areas. They are also raising concerns about the security vulnerability, right? Specifically in the regions that are more prone to the conflict, and deterioration of the trust among the communities over there in Manipur. So there is basically, they say, a greater need for transparency and proper comprehensive investigation in order to resolve this particular concerns. Now, what are their demand for immediate action? First things first, the most important thing that they are raising is the demand for protection of the civilians. Second, to restore the confidence of the public. Now, if the administration wants to restore the confidence of the public in themselves, they cannot force the public to do so. The onus is not on the public to do so. It is the authority, the governance system that should work in an inclusive manner so that the people start trusting back, and also among the communities also there needs to be trust. Plus strengthening of the security arrangements which are there in Manipur, that needs to be further strengthened. Next is the measures to ensure peace and stability in Manipur. See, if peace and stability is basically, if everything is ensured, peace and stability is ensured. If you can ensure peace and stability, everything else takes care of itself. So they have drafted a 7-point charter of demand. Let us look at these 7 points. First is the judicial inquiry into the June 16th death. So on 16th of June, the death that took place of the Kuki tribe, then of a Kuki tribal, basically they want a judicial inquiry into that. Then investigation into the incidents involving civilian casualties. All other incidents that are there in which civilians have lost their life, they want investigation into that, which makes sense. Of course, that is what should be done in a fair and proper in-depth manner. Then inquiry into the destruction of their villages, of their regions, right, of their infrastructure, etc. Then enhanced deployment of security forces. This is to improve the security in that region so that more lives are not lost. Greater transparency with respect to the processes, negotiations, especially with respect to the negotiations that are taking place, which also includes the armed organizations as well. Then reviewing of the existing ceasefire arrangement that is present, which again involves the armed organizations as well. And then finally, compensation, because people have lost their life, has lost their livelihood, have lost their house, etc. Rehabilitation, and then long-term political solution for the Kuki Zo people. Solution should be a long-term permanent kind of a solution that is basically required. So if you look at the way forward, it can be divided into 2 types, immediate and long term. When it comes to immediate, the government needs to strengthen the civilian protection mechanism so that the civilians are safe, ensure fair and transparent investigation, that is the bare minimum that you as a citizen can ask for, improve the coordination between state and center agencies so that they can work in sync and not against each other, and accelerate the rehabilitation as well as the relief effort, which is absolutely required. When it comes to the long-term measures, first things first, inclusive political dialogue needs to happen. Now, what do you mean by inclusive political dialogue? That means it needs to involve all the stakeholders. You cannot leave any stakeholder behind. Issue with this is when all the stakeholders are together, then a lot of conflicts and all do arise. So as a result of which, independently also these stakeholders are being met, but after meeting independently, any final resolution or draft that comes out needs to be done in consultation with all the stakeholders that is involved, so hence it should be inclusive. Next is the confidence building measures have to be there from the side of the government so that it builds confidence among the people. Development of the conflict affected region is a must, because many ethnic conflict or any regionalism or religion based or ethnicity based, many times in fact a lot of sociologists and thinkers argue that it has nothing to do with that ethnicity also. It is because of the lack of development, lack of resources or scarcity of resources, unfair distribution of it, so on and so forth. So this plays a very important role. Then you have the institutional mechanism for grievance redressal should also be there, so that in future if any grievance comes, it is meted immediately and resolved as quickly and swiftly and permanently as possible. And then sustainable peace and reconciliation framework needs to be there in order to ensure that peace prevails in Manipur for eternity. That is very important. So these are the permanent things that the government can basically have a look at. So once done, we can ensure that no more civilian lives are lost, and in Manipur, peace prevails. Thank you.